did his job and left. And then the guy that we texted first shows up like 4 days
later.
after that. Yeah,
Jeez.
like,
Man.
I'm here to fix the pump, and we're like, oh, oh, are you?
Yeah, these
So
guys
you
don't
thought
want
I
to
was
learn.
gonna wait?
Yeah, but I mean,
Man.
it's the attitude. Like, at
Yeah,
least, reply, like,
yeah.
hey, you know, um, I might be able to help you, like in a few days, like, you know, not.
Handyman.
That's very common for handymen to do that.
But they don't.
YouTube,
Yeah,
go to YouTube and check out what you can do, man. I'm pretty sure you'll find a solution there.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I mean, actually, I'm gonna buy the same pump,
Okay.
so I should be like kind of easy because you know what I'm saying.
because you installed the first one, or why? Why?
No, but I saw how it was installed.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
So
So it's just
and plus
replacing the
all the
pump.
installation is already done. So it's just a matter of replacing the pump.
The pieces and
So
everything. Yeah.
You got it.
might as well. All right, guys. So today, hey, I have something planned. Like in my YouTube channel during the week, I was talking to my students about how self learning has become so popular now. Because you know you can have I mean, because of the access to the internet and to technology and all. However, I sometimes find people not knowing what process, what program to follow. You know what like what comes after what where should I start? Like some people think that even some books think that the verb to be is the first topic that we should approach and learn. You know, However, I think Neeson did too or does too. You know, but me, I think differently. So I want to show you the program I use. I mean, the order I use, which to me is logical and sequential.
Okay.
And you tell me what you think. What you think?
Now this is for people who want to self-learn, basically just
Right.
correct. Okay, cool.
From basic to intermediate.
Okay.
I covered two levels. All right. Oh, look at me. I'm not that beautiful anymore. What? Look at me, man. What the? All right. All right. There you go. There you go. Like, look. Okay. So what I recommend, what I suggest, not really recommend. Okay. Estrella Yanez, good morning. Good morning, girl. Okay. What I recommend is that we start by learning. I mean, even before this, I think we should learn like quick learning style. Learn the sounds of English.
Sound.
At least not to really know them, but at least to get to know them too. So you can, so you are conscious that the letter I, the subjective personal pronoun I is not E if you speak Spanish. At least to have some, knowledge of this. However, you're not going to become an expert, but at least you're going to know that what you read is not what you say. However, let's go on for the first topic I suggest. It's actually that subjective and objective personal pronouns. What do you think about that? So far, so good?
Yeah, so far so good. Yeah.
Okay. Then you need to learn the basic formula,
Now we're
which
talking.
is like subject, verb, complement. Okay. You
Yeah.
need to understand the position of those subjective and objective personal pronouns, which is, I mean, first, present simple. You know, that's the first. Third person, don't and doesn't. Would you add anything else to this one, to number two?
No, pretty much covers it. Present simple.
Okay. Then basic auxiliaries to make questions, because we use don't and doesn't for negative. But then I think you can explain where don't and doesn't comes from, and you can analyze the auxiliaries by themselves to make questions. Do and does to make questions in present simple. Then after that, you already have do you, and then probably the verb have, and then countable and uncountable nouns, so such as, and then the determiners, and, some, and any. What do you think?
I'm with you all the way. So far, so good.
Okay,
Yeah.
there is and there are and quantifiers using those countable and uncountable nouns. Okay, then close questions with short answers. Do you, are there, is there, with the verb to be, and with do and all the verbs. Only close questions. Okay, now number 7, gerunds versus infinitives. I like dancing, or I like to dance. Okay, uh, people need to learn what the difference between gerunds and infinitives are. And then once you already know that gerunds are something, are an element, then you need to use them sometimes sometimes they're nouns, and sometimes as a verb, like present progressive. Okay, and then you make a comparison between simple present and present simple and present progressive. Later on, you will learn the modal auxiliaries, which will, would, can, could, should, you know. And then the past simple, and the past progressive. Then verb tenses, and verb forms. I think I messed up here, and it should be verb forms, which is past participle, and then present perfect and past perfect, which are very similar. After that, then tenses, the difference between simple and progressive, all the tenses, and then regular verbs and their pronunciations, the different pronunciations of ed, to, do, and ed, adjectives, comparatives, and superlatives, and finally, prepositions in, on, at for time and place. And once you already have these topics covered, maybe you can achieve the basic level. What do you guys think?
I'm with you 100%. Yeah,
Oh
Yeah, this
man,
is
then
pretty
I
well
did it
summed up.
again.
very well
What
summarized.
so what should we add anything else?
From a content perspective, I think it's solid.
It is. What do you think, Nissan?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's well organized, and if you've tried this order already, and it's worked for most of the students, then that's the one you should go with.
Do you use any
Um,
different?
always, always. I think of because what was the question? Sorry, because I just found out. What's the best system? What's the best approach?
Yes. What's the best program?
But program. Yeah. I don't know. What's the guy who plays? Who's the guy that plays Thor on the Marvel movies?
Oh man.
The white dude,
Do you want an answer or not? Yeah, of course he's white. Like, Thor. He's Thor, dude. Chris
Chris.
Hemsworth.
No, Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. You've seen the guy, right? That took some training, but I don't
Modified.
think I don't think he went to Sports World and ordered a program. Oh,
He
so what's
was
the best program for me? I'm playing Thor. Nah, he hired
a trainer.
a trainer,
Yeah,
and the trainer didn't give him like, oh, this is the best program that works out for most of my students. No, he made a program for the student. That's my approach. Like I'll use a different order of topics every time depending on the student I have, because I usually have students with different backgrounds, even though
Uh,
they all might be on a basic level. If I'm working for an institution and that institution is working with a particular program, a book or whatever, I will follow it. If I'm working for you and this is your program, I will follow this program and I will have no problems following your program. But if not, if it's a particular students and I'm customizing, I'm adapting a program for them, my the order of the content will vary uh, most of the time. Yeah.
okay. What do you think, Oscar?
yeah. I agree there with Nissan. I mean, I think nowadays, a lot of people use that. customizable, personalized approach, regardless of the content you have to cover. And and the point here is, it's like you said, if you work for an institution, then they will have certain investment in a certain book set, right? So you have to follow it. However, nowadays you can really play with this many ways, right? Like the way you're doing it as well. So yeah, I mean, you definitely have. I think that's a value add. That's a value add as a teacher, right? You say, okay, look, I have this to cover, but we can always modify, adapt, change, review, revise accordingly. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
Because I totally
Right.
understand. You, for example, Cam, are teaching these free classes to everybody out there. So in your case, yeah, you definitely have to have this like a program
for everyone.
for everyone. Yeah, so in your case it's different. If I were doing the same thing, I would definitely need to come up with something like this, or ask for assistance. Like, yeah, I would definitely ask you, hey, so what's the best program that's worked for you? uh,
I also have, for example, I have a doctor and I have a business administrator. They already know English. They just want to feel comfortable because they have many mistakes. They have studied English in several institutions before.
True.
However, they don't feel completely, confident about their English. So what I did, or what I'm doing, is I'm going through all these topics in this order. Again, of course, I don't have to teach, I don't have to spend uh 2 days in subjective and objective personal pronouns because they already know. However, I need to make sure that they know these in this order. Why? Because it's like building. So I because it's my responsibility. So they can. So what they perform later or now, it's my responsibility. So if regardless of the fact that they were exposed to this information before or not, in this order or not, I need to make sure that they know this. And I've been finding that learning or making a review on topics with this order is the most logical and sequential I can find. Of course, I can enrich each topic, the way
Yeah,
according to the student, and with some of them I don't even speak Spanish. With some of them I need to speak a little bit Spanish to make them, because they don't know the difference of I and me, so I need to make a little difference. However, I think, I mean, and my question to you guys is, should you or would you add, modify the order, not the technique, not the exercise you will use with each one, not the approach of teaching each topic. I'm talking
the
strictly
order.
about the order
Okay, from
of
a
the topics.
complexity level perspective, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Would you add on
No,
this?
I would modify the order a little bit. Not the
What?
content, but
Tell me,
maybe the
tell me,
order.
tell me.
For
I'm
example, number
interested.
4, countable and uncountable nouns, right? At this point, a basic person might not know all the parts of speech, right? Might not know all the parts of speech, and you might be focusing on just the basic structure, right? I am Oscar, right? And or I play baseball, and that's it, right? Subject verb agreement. So maybe I would put the countable and countable nouns maybe more a little bit at the end, right? And maybe switch it with
Okay.
with 6, because the rest of them are still. I mean, I would say you're probably going to spend a lot of time in 1, 2, and 3
Sure.
before you move on, and then I would probably
Yes.
just put 1, 2, and 3, and switch it to 6 or maybe 8, and
Mm.
then you know, yeah, that's the only thing I would probably
Mm.
change, bro. But other than that, it's cool.
Okay, I like it. I can always try. Because I'm testing this. It's not like I'm not telling you, oh, this is the way people should learn. No, I'm testing this.
Yeah,
I want to learn myself too. What do you think, Nissan? Which one would you change, or what would you add?
But if I were to use this in one of my courses, um, I would definitely include the verb to be, and I'd like to elaborate on why. But where is verb to be here? Like I don't see it. Am I
Right there.
which number? Because I don't the text
It's
is very
a.
small in this
I
platform.
don't. Ah, okay. Sorry. I don't go for it as the verb to be. It's a. I
Oh, I
just
see. I see.
you
You'll
know
just include it
Yeah.
inductively. All right. Okay.
exactly. I
All
don't
right.
make it an issue because, like I said the last time, sometimes people think that the verb to be is the verb. And people
It
want to
kind
use
of
it all the
is.
time. You
All right.
know,
All right.
and I
Well.
just tell them when to use the verb to be. You know.
All right. All right. Let me share a little bit uh, about that. Uh,
Yeah.
if it's like a very basic level, like if we're starting from scratch, I'll usually go for the very basic concepts of language, and that is what is language? Well, it's a system, like an instrumental system. And what do we do with this system?
Communicate.
We communicate what?
Cool. Yeah,
Ideas,
ideas,
Which
feelings. Yeah,
ideas? Which
feelings,
ideas?
the ones you
Which
have in
ideas?
your head, and
Which ones can you have as a human being with
you can have
five, maybe six senses?
infinitive
So this
ideas.
is what I start. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, like I'm not preaching. I'm just showing you
Yeah,
how I do it. Uh, so to make long story short, I go to the concept of perception. Like human beings can perceive pretty much two concepts, two things from reality. Things exist and things move. And what comes first? Movement or existence? Because
right.
that's to be and to do. And in my approach, it's paramount that they understand these differences, because when they use auxiliaries and grammatical rules, sometimes the difference lies on whether you're talking about existence or movement. And
hmm,
that's why I always start with to be and to do. And actually, I do agree with you that starting with the to be as the main topic it's like kind of old fashioned. Yeah, I don't really do it like that. Like I always go for both of them. Okay, we have existence and movement, and this is to be and this is to do, and the general structure, the syntax applies for both of them. And
All
I
the time.
even yes,
Oh,
and I even tell them that this is one of the mistakes that many books and methods make. They will make one, two, or maybe three topics. They will break them down into 26 freaking topics. And it's not 26 topics, it's three. Like, why you gotta make it so
big.
so
what three?
yeah, for example, what's the basic structure of English? Subject,
Okay.
verb, complement,
Hmm.
with the demand of an auxiliary for negative and interrogative structures. And which auxiliary you're going to be using? Well, it depends on whether you're talking about existence or movement, to be or to do. That's it. Because if we work on that using simple present, because here I don't use simple present as a topic itself, I use simple present as an example. So in simple present, this is how it works.
To do.
Check out
Yeah.
the structure. The structure hasn't moved, and this is now. Let's use the auxiliary. Are you talking about somebody existing? Like, is he or is she? Or yes, okay. So the auxiliary would be to be. No, and what are we talking about? The person carrying out an action. Is he, does he smoke? Does he eat? Does he work? Because that's going to be another auxiliary. And once they wrap their heads around that, then I'll go, okay, now check this out. It's the same thing in the past tense. The structure won't change. It's the same thing. Now check this out. The same thing happens with the future tense. The structure doesn't really change. So you see, in 1 hour you can cover all of that. Now I always tell the students, this session is not for you to learn, you know, all the tenses. No, no, no. It's just for you to see how the structure it's very inflexible in when we talk about English. It's not the same as in Spanish. Spanish is a very flexible language where the order of elements can be switched all the time, and you know the subject can be there or not be there. You know, it can be implied. You know, some of these things that don't really happen in
Okay.
English. English is pretty basic. It's a pretty basic structure. It's very inflexible. You have like maybe two ways of saying the same thing, but not seven
Okay.
or eight like
Yeah.
in Romance languages. So that would be my
No,
my approach.
that's why I knew I had to ask you guys for it. You know, so regardless of the fact that you have a grumpy way of saying it, you know, I think there's a lot of knowledge in what you are actually saying. You know,
Ah,
No,
I'm turning into a gnome. You know, I
and
got the nose,
yeah,
I got the beard, and
I,
now I got the grumpiness.
I was
you know,
like,
and to
yeah,
add to that, you know,
yeah,
everyone will always add their flavor and their style, and I think that that's what's great about this today's topic because Nissan's got his style and his approach. You have yours, I have mine, but at the end of the day, if they've all been beneficial and working, then more to it to everyone, right? So it's cool. It's real good topic, bro.
sure, sure. We keep learning. Plus, humans change, methods change. So why
Oh,
not, keep changing and evolving?
Now, Nissan
I was
does have
just
a point
wondering.
there because a lot of people want to put it like in a box and sell you this. And
Mhm.
maybe we could talk about this, because I've seen this a lot right now in Facebook group. I got to tell you, man, I left about 4 or 5 Facebook groups that you invited me to, Cambar, because it was, I mean, dude, it was just people were posting all kinds of crazy stuff, man. So I had to leave, man. But what I've
We gotta
seen,
save them.
well, we gotta try. But what I've seen is like what Nissan says. A lot of people want to put an all-in-one little box and sell it to you and say, "This is the one. This is it." And I've seen a lot of that lately, man.
Yo,
But
and sometimes you open that box, it's 300 different topics. You know?
All right, right,
Like
right.
for example, you got the European framework. I love it. You know,
yes, yes,
it's
yeah,
it's A, B, C.
that's it.
And if you're working on A, that's divided into A1 and A2. It's a simple uh, organization
Leveling.
competencies. Yes, but then you buy this course, no, in some school, and they have 36 levels, and you're like, how does that work?
I
You
Yeah,
know,
that's money making machine right there.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
yeah, that's
yes,
making
the first topic is to be, no. But then it's to be in past, to be in present, to be in future, to be used in present continuous, and then uh, uh, to do, and they do the same thing, and then they will actually divide to do into half, and then into neat, and then into like four or five other different sections of the book, and it's like, yo, it's the same structure. Why would you do that? No. Yeah, because you
right,
want to keep
right.
you want to keep racking the big dough with your students. No.
Let me
Exactly.
show you what the intermediate level looks like. Okay, like
Now let me ask you this:
from
how many? Okay, do you do an assessment or do you have a total of hours to determine when someone is ready to go to intermediate level?
now exactly that's pretty much linking it to I will link it to what Nissan was saying that you can't do that. That's for institutions, but when you have private classes, now you need to tell them that okay, you want to reach your goal, you need to stop thinking about time and goals like that. Now this won't be easy, bro, like because this you won't learn in 3 months, you won't learn in 6 months.
Are
You
you
can't.
sure?
No.
Everybody
I
promotes
don't
that
I
on
don't
Facebook, man. Be bilingual in 6 months.
I don't think you
It's
can. I mean,
just
you can.
that's
It's like
just
going to the.
That's nonsense,
it's
man.
ludicrous.
It's
It's
nonsense.
ludicrous.
It's
Yeah, it's
nonsense.
like
A lot
going
of
to the
people are
gym.
doing that. Oh yeah, it
Like
takes
I
time,
told
baby.
you. Like what do you?
But but so you don't have a, a threshold. You don't have a threshold.
No,
Okay, now we
no,
can cover intermediate level, or I just want to know your thought process.
no. Okay. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. The way I do it is I work. I have a theory called spiral learning.
That's good.
That that means that you have to go around them all these topics 2 or 3 times. I mean, it's impossible that you get. I talk to you about the verb to be, and that's it. You got the verb to be, and I'm not gonna mention it anymore. No, 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 no. I talk to you about the verb to be, but that's it. Let's move on to the next topic, and then later on we'll come back to the same topic, but to in a different level, in an upper level. Okay, so on, and that's how we're gonna be moving up. In circles up. That's why I call it spiral learning,
Yeah.
because some like once you cover a topic, that doesn't mean that you already got it. No, no, no. We need to like in on at who in this world catches in on at the first class. Yeah, the theory is easy, in specific, not specific, on specific, and at very specific. But when you apply it, people commit mistakes all the time. So not but until the third or fourth time, probably fifth time, you will kind of catch it. So I don't have a threshold like that because there is none. There it's not a linear learning or growth. No, you will cross the threshold once, but you
Eventually,
will
okay.
then you will get away from it because you will find out that you have crossed no threshold yet.
So
You still
so
have to.
okay. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So let me see if I'm understanding. So if I'm a student with you and I'm covering basic and we do the spiral approach, you might introduce intermediate concepts to me and then like start noticing, oh okay, he knows how to understand more complex structures, so now he's like in the intermediate level. That's sort of like what you do.
No, I think he. I
Yeah,
think he means. No, I think you mean. Well, maybe I
Because
understood differently.
you're not saying, yeah, because he's saying he doesn't like, okay, now we finish basic, now we start intermediate. You really don't do that, right?
Yeah, but not backwards. Like I mean, he starts from basic topics because I do the same thing. I've been calling it like non-linear learning, but
Okay,
it's very similar. Like you start with basic levels, but that's not the first time that you will be working on these basic topics.
so
It's
repeat
just
it.
it's just the first time you're gonna be doing that like 7 or 8 times, depending on the student or depending on the program. For example, I have some students trying to get a C1, and we still go over model auxiliaries because I
Yeah,
know that they need to work on them. Maybe not grammatically because if I give them a test,
but they're in
and
C1, right? You already have a threshold.
they're aiming for C1. Yeah, but it's the same thing for the ones that are in A2.
Exactly. That's
We
why I'm asking Cambar. When does he determine if he has an A2 person or a B1 person? Just to like
exactly.
see.
It through time, bro. Because
Got it. Got it. Okay.
after I cover all these topics, I mean, it doesn't mean you already got them. No, it just means that you kind of know about them, but we still have to practice them a lot.
Got it.
We
Got it.
haven't practiced anything. I'm just
Okay.
teaching you, and I'm just showing you
So
the topics. You
I
okay.
know,
think I,
So
I think
let
I
me
think the
throw this
question.
question out there then. So do you guys assess people or not?
Uh, yeah, we do. I think
I'm,
your question was. I think your question was. I think we're missing the point of your first question. You're wondering whether Cam has some sort of time frame or time deadline or time. That's what you mean by
Exactly.
threshold.
Exactly. So, yeah. Like how many hours or how much time do you invest? But I guess like what Cam says, it depends, right? I just go over the topics and go over the information, and that's fine. Let me tell you why. Because this is an advantage to all the different schools and the systems out there, right? Because we all work in schools, we all work in institutions. What are the things you have to cover? Your content, your hours, your assessments, next, right? That's basic in every school, in every institution. And by you
right.
doing this, you bring an added value. You say, hey, we're going to work with this in a different time, in a different method, and we're going to see you grow and advance like you should. At least that's how I see it, right? And that's good.
Right, right. No, but what I see, I give them a level test, and
Okay, cool.
then most of them will be A1 or A2. No, like I mean, some of them are B1, B2s. Yeah, yeah, of course. But what I tell them is, what are you in Spanish? Because A1 for me is a person that can go to a restaurant and order and feel comfortable with it. That's an
Oh,
A1.
that's an A1?
Yeah, to me, that's an A1. An
Okay.
A2 is a person that can introduce himself and can introduce somebody else and can talk about the day and can talk like basic stuff. That's an A2. What's
Okay.
a B1? Oh, a B1 is a person that if they go to the United States and they
I
lose
can
their
survive.
passport, they can talk to the police and explain what happened. You
Survival.
know, yeah, survival. B2 is a person that can actually give instructions and understand them clearly. However, maybe for a debate, he won't have exactly the words he needs, for that or advanced
Yeah, more
reading. He might
complex
still have
ideas.
problems with some vocabulary and stuff.
Yeah.
And C1 is the type of person that is like a manager. It's a managerial type of level that you know exactly what words you need to use in what context, and what like depending on the situation, because there might be difficult situations that you cannot only say yes or no. You need to say,
Expand
however,
your ideas.
you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So you need to have that's C1, and C2 is that you have the C1 level, but you actually know why academically. You academically know why, and what every part of the speech is, and how one of them works, what and all these. So basically, what a student needs to reach or should reach is the C1 level. But I always ask them, okay,
Okay, that's what you
in your
encourage.
native language, what, because it's a common European framework, so it works for all languages. In your
Languages.
native language, what level do you think you have? you
Oh,
know
that's a good question.
That's a great
Most
question.
people
That's a
say,
great question.
some arrogant students say, oh, I'm
Me
a
too.
C1, and I say, all right.
In
So
Spanish.
C1 in Spanish. So C1 means that you have the same level as people debating in the news. Do you have that level? So they say, oh, well, not really. Do you have the writer level?
It
Well,
depends
not
who's
really.
debating, man. Because nowadays we have all type of personalities, man.
Oh yeah, well yeah, not exactly, exactly.
I
Well, but
mean, the
that's
ones,
the
the decent ones.
Yeah, the
Yes.
yeah,
respected
the
ones.
The
decent, the ones that
respected
have a
ones.
reputation, right? You know,
Yeah.
whether you agree with what they say or not,
Well,
but
that's different. That's different. Yeah, that
they know how to use
articulate,
the language. Exactly, they can
articulate.
articulate well. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
Yes.
C1. But B2 is pretty much what a person with a degree has.
Or
That
should
they
have.
or should have, right?
Yeah,
Should have.
a lot of it's subjective.
But most people have between B1 and A2. Most people on the street have A2, B1s. Most people in the streets are in that level in their native language. So if you have an A1 in English and you have a B1 in Spanish, I guess we got something. I guess we're not that bad.
I like
So,
that. I like your approach, man.
might as well be. And how long has it taken you to
To
reach
reach that
the
level,
to B1 level or to B2 level in your native language? What,
life,
20
yeah,
years,
life.
40 years? You know? So you can ask me to take you to C1 in 6 months. I mean, what kind of we can use the advantage that you already speak a language, so we can go a little bit faster.
Yeah, code
Yes,
switching, get your brain moving.
but I cannot assure you that you will get. I mean, Neeson says he has had students achieving C1 in a few months, and
Well, he said about a year, right? He was
No, but
working
they
hard.
already. Yeah, no, but
He
I'm
was
talking
working
about
hard, and they were, yeah,
yeah, the military like
yeah.
type of intensive intensive training,
Sure.
and also people with a background. But like you said, what you just said is really important because I just talked about that yesterday with one of my students. She wants to apply for a C1 test, and I don't know I don't know what exactly we're talking about, but I did mention this. I said something very similar to that. If you're a B2 in Spanish and you wanna get a C2 certification in English, uh, two things are gonna happen. You might not be able to actually get that level, or during your learning process, your native tongue is going to improve a lot. Like, because you have to find that balance, and that's how are you going to do that? Well, you have to work not only on your English, you have to work on language in general, on your bilingual
Sure.
skills. You have to work on your
Sure.
bilingual skills, like for example, reading and comprehension. If you're terrible at reading and comprehension skills in Spanish,
That comes over, that trickles over.
and you want to be competent in English reading and comprehension, now you might want to work on the first issue first, or you're
Sure.
going to have to work on both of them at the same time. And in these cases, which are not that particular, are very common, the translation method is something that really, really works and is very demonized. And that could be like another topic for some other time. But sometimes translation method is really good because you're working on both languages at the same time,
Yeah.
and
Right.
we've got this ESL notion. Let's just remember that ESL was invented in the 15th century by England trying to being more effective at
Colonized. Yeah.
colonizing and trading. That
Spanish as
they
well.
didn't they didn't really care about what language the colonized people spoke. No, so
Yeah.
and it's the same thing with immigrants in the United States. Not like you're an immigrant, you're in America, so
Give
speak
me my
English
food.
or die. We don't care if you speak Korean. We don't care if you speak Chinese. We don't care if you speak Spanish. Here, you speak English and don't be translating anything. We don't wanna hear that. And ESL teachers have started implementing that methodology here, like since the 60s or 70s. They created this notion that still persists up to
It
this day.
does. It does.
Don't
Sure.
translate. Never translate. Translating is bad. It summons evil spirits. Yo, chill. Like, what are you talking about? This is like that's a real old fashioned. And
Sure.
I think I just ranted back
No,
there.
no, it's good, man. You made some good
Yes,
points. And Kambar, a few
you
sessions
did.
ago, he talked about that. He talked about translating and interpreting, right? That's the biggest difference. So
I
Sure.
that's
wasn't. I
true.
think. I think I wasn't there. I think it was a time that I wasn't there.
But it's good. It's a
Oh
good point,
man,
though.
I had a student, actually. I had a student this morning, and we are preparing for a TOEFL exam. And
Holy
I
gee.
yeah.
Internet based or
So
the traditional one?
yeah, internet based.
IBT.
First, and then I asked, and then he told me, hey, but because we were doing some reading comprehension, and he said, oh man, I have trouble understanding reading in Spanish. So how can you ask me to understand this in English? And I said, huh, that tells us a lot about your personality as a person, because that means that you are better speaking. He's a salesman. You are better speaking than listening. You are better saying things, expressing things than understanding things. You don't understand things. You don't want to comprehend what is going on. You just want to speak and you want to say what you think, but you don't want to learn what people are really saying. So you only think, oh, I think they're saying this, and you interpret it. You know. However, sometimes if you want to reach the C1 level, you need to understand every single word of what they're saying, even in your native
Thank
language.
you. Yeah.
What are they really saying, man?
Yes.
Because no, no, that's not what they said. Those are the words they used, but that's not exactly
Right.
what they said. You
Yeah.
know, that's the next level. You know, so I think people need to think about what they're saying, really, what their feeling is, and what the other person is saying too. Not really the words they're using, what they are saying. You know, and comprehending. You know what is happening, and then
Totally,
you
totally.
can you can aspire to reach a C1 level. Other like meanwhile, you're just learning structures and vocabulary. You know,
Yeah, you're just
that's from
repeating everything. Yeah.
that's
Now,
B2 down.
you guys touched a very important point, and I think this is something we could really expand on. The social linguistic baggage that people bring to learning English as a second language, right? I think this is exactly what you guys are pointing out, and that we can talk about this, very, very, very deeply, guys. This is cool.
Yes, of course. Nathan has a comment right there.
Yeah, like for instance, one of the most things that happened to me with the intermediate advanced students, and many times in managerial positions, is precisely that. I give them a text, where, it's about it's a descriptive text. Like, it's a guy, he's fishing in a lake, and he caught a shoe, and he was happy about it. So you have him read this text, and then you'll ask him, okay, so what is the story about? And they will,
A
and
guy in a shoe.
they'll tell you things about, oh, it talks about this guy that was on vacation, never in the text. He was on vacation, and he really wanted a shoe, so so he made a wish, upon a star, and then the lake magically gave him the shoe. Like, they will say, things that have nothing to do with the text, and
People understand what they want to understand.
Interpret what they
yeah, and
want.
they will bring stuff that isn't there to the text, or the opposite. Sometimes they'll
Yes.
say, "Oh no, it's about a guy that who found a shoe in a lake." Okay, how did he find it? I don't know. Like you know, he was walking down the shore, and he found it.
And
No,
they
he
make
was
their own
fishing.
story.
Like, that's the whole point. He was fishing. Like, yeah, no, they omit very important words or sentences in the text, and that's one of the first things to address. I mean, that's one of the first things that I do with when I start working
Intermediate.
with intermediate advanced students. I give them a text, a simple text, and see what they come up with after they've read it. And that's
That's
a
the
way for me to
beauty.
know how I'm going to approach this.
That's the beauty of language, man, because learning languages connect you with reality, connect you with life, and make you
Makes
understand
you
and
makes you
interpret
human,
life.
man. I think language is gonna keep us human, man. That's my philosophy here, right? I think that's what's
Shoot,
gonna keep us human, man.
I agree with you, bro. Yes, exactly, because that makes us understand reality. And if our language is crooked or broken, that's how we're gonna interpret life. Broken. You know, and then with like what is happening is not what is happening, is what you understand that is happening. And if your language is wrong, you will understand reality wrong. You will and that's life, which is easy to interpret. Supposedly, imagine when you try to understand another person speaking. You
That's a
know,
challenge.
that'll be even harder. That's more challenging. So when you are learning a language, I think you need to, yes, what Nissan tells you is to try to understand beyond that, not only language, but to understand life, because you will evolve on your native language too. In general, your native language, you will learn another language. So, man, it was such a good topic to talk about. I see everybody there watching. So if you want to give us a comment, this is the moment, guys. Thank you very much.
This is the moment.
We are here every Friday, trying to bring some good topics to you to talk about. Remember, this is a podcast for teachers and for advanced students, so everybody can participate now. All right, so we're getting to the end of this podcast, or today's podcast. So it was a pleasure to have a talk with you guys. So Oscar, give me a last comment.
Last comment.
Conclusion.
Acquiring a second language is not easy. It's not easy. There's no magic pills. But if you have a proven facilitator, a proven person, that can guide you and help you and take you down that path, however long it may take, and if it's working for you, kudos. But I am totally against people that promise you nonsense objectives, 6, 9, even 12 months to be fully bilingual. That's nonsense. That's not right. That's not true. And I think all three of us here agree with that. I'm assuming. So just be careful, go get it. And all these topics and things that we talked about today can be beneficial to many people out there.
Okay, there you go. Yes, of course, bro. Yes, of course. What you said was very, very important. Neeson, tell us something.
I think the best program would be one that really touches on all language competences. We have to remember that it is not just grammar. No, you have phonetics. That's as Cam mentioned, the sounds of language. But you also have to work on reading skills and listening and comprehension skills, and your conversational skills, and what else? And then once you've worked on all of these, you still have to work on your communicative skills, which have more to do with affective psychological aspects of your personality. That sometimes the teacher will not be able to help you with. You might need to
You're on
look
your
for,
own.
yeah, you might need to look for some other type of assistance.
Okay, sure. Because I let me add on to that. Because learning a language, I mean, using a language shouldn't only be for selling something, for for telling what you think, for communicating with people. Nah, learning a language should be a way of you connecting with life itself. It should be the way you connect to yourself and how yourself connects to life. So, with others. Okay,
That's
it's a
beautiful.
link between you and life. I might be getting too philosophical here, but it's
No,
not
that's
philosophy.
fine.
It's real.
It
What
kind
I
of
think
Fine.
is
is.
I have a friend. I have
It
a
is
real good
it
friend.
is analytical philosophy, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a real good friend who says, okay, English is to express, not to impress.
Yeah.
yes.
Some guy I know, some guy I know.
True, 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 true.
Yeah,
Yes, of
there's a guy.
course.
There's a guy.
Yeah.
There's a guy called Ludwig Wittgenstein or Wittgenstein. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but that guy talked about that, about how the connection between language and the perception of reality, and how it affects politics and philosophy in general. And he's considered one of the greatest promoters of analytical philosophy. So yeah, you were not that
Not that far away, Cam.
you were not that lost. Yeah.
So, guys, if you're into learning languages, be ready to change as a person because you will be in contact with philosophy somehow.
Yeah,
You
you
know.
will.
So, however, for a beginner student, I have this in my webpage where you can start approaching the language with these topics. However, don't expect it to be a short road or no, you can't. You will be here with us. You will be learning for a long time. You'll be learning for a long time, depending on how built you want to get, like the rock, you know, Like The Rock didn't go for 3 months to the gym and got like that, and
Oh
he's
yeah,
been training for 20 years,
yeah.
15
Steroids,
years.
man.
On
Steroids.
What you just said, I liked it. Learning a language is not a tour; it's an adventure.
Oh, that's another
Sure,
one, man. Look at you, man.
There
Woo,
you
take it.
go.
boy.
Yeah,
You can quote me on that. I just coined
we'll
one.
full of phrases.
That's how I
All right,
roll.
guys. Thank you very much, and I will see you next week. Remember, I will see you guys this evening for the Conversation Club. All right. So have a good day. Thank you